Rifleman.
To a wide-eyed kid in 1962, Chuck Connors was a rifle-toting god. When he cocked that pump-action rifle in the opening credits of The Rifleman, a surge of excitement flowed from head to toe. Although Connors' first roles were in the 1950s in feature films such as Pat and Mike with Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn, South Sea Woman opposite Burt Lancaster, and as a football coach opposite John Wayne in Trouble Along the Way, he became a true star in his own right with his role as Lucas McCain in the TV Western The Rifleman. Kevin Joseph Aloysius Chuck Connors was born on April 10, 1921, and was the eldest of two children. He got his name Chuck while playing first base, as he had a habit of calling to the pitcher, "Chuck it to me, baby, chuck it to me." His one sibling was a sister named Gloria, who was 2 years younger than him. Connors was a passionate baseball fan and followed the Brooklyn Dodgers. His dream was to someday join the team as a professional ball player. Chuck was a talented athlete and received scholarship offers from more than 24 colleges. He finally chose to attend Seton Hall in New Jersey, but after just 2 years in college, he left to play professional baseball and ended up with 2 minor league teams before joining the U.S. Army in World War II. After being discharged from the Army in 1946, Chuck ended up playing professional basketball with the newly formed team, the Boston Celtics. Connors is one of only 13 athletes to have played in 2 professional sports leagues, as he also played professional baseball with the Chicago Cubs in 1951. He one day realized that he wasn't making a career in pro sports, so when an MGM casting director approached him while he was goofing around on the baseball field, he decided to try acting instead. That led to his first role as a state trooper in the movie Pat and Mike in 1952, for which he earned $500. Chuck would later state, "I figured they'd made some mistake on the adding machine, but I stuck the check in my pocket and shut up. Baseball, I told myself, just lost a first baseman." In 1958, Connors tried out for the lead role in the TV Western series The Rifleman, beating out 40 other actors for the part. The series, which aired for 5 seasons from 1958 to 1963, had Chuck portraying the main character Lucas McCain as a widowed father raising a young son on his own in the Wild West of the 1880s. Connors originally turned down the part when the producers offered him less money to star in a 39-episode first season than he was making as a freelance actor. After the producers had taken their children to see the feature film Old Yeller and saw Connors in the role of a strong father figure, they decided he was the perfect actor for the role and made him a better offer. They even cut him in with a 5% ownership in the show. The Rifleman was a huge hit and ran for 5 full seasons and 168 episodes. The show debuted at number 4 in the Nielsen ratings behind 3 other westerns, which were Gunsmoke, Wagon Train, and Have Gun Will Travel. It was a great era for westerns on TV and in the movies. A bit of trivia: in the opening credits, Lucas McCain fires his rifle 12 times, but 13 shots are heard. The 13th shot was dubbed in for dramatic effect to lead into the opening theme. The Rifleman was one of the first American shows to air in Russia, and Soviet leader Leonid Brezhnev was a huge Chuck Connors fan and even requested to meet him. When they finally met, Chuck gave Brezhnev the Colt .45 revolvers that he had used on the TV show Branded. Chuck also showed him how to twirl the guns. They ended up becoming good friends, with Brezhnev inviting Connors to visit with him in Russia to make a movie. Connors later visited the Soviet Union, where he made a 90-minute documentary called Peace and Friendship. 2 people that Connors believed were close friends, a general in the U.S. Army and a Pentagon legal advisor, criticized him for this and accused him of being a communist. They ripped up autographed photographs he had given to them and mailed him the torn pieces. Chuck was very hurt by this and never forgot it for the rest of his life. In Season 3, Episode 10, entitled The Schoolmaster, Chuck Connors' real-life sons made an appearance, all 4 of them. Connors' 2 nieces were also used in the show. The filming took twice the usual time to shoot, as the children were all laughing, missing cues, and generally having a good time on set. Connors was also known as a ladies' man with many love interests throughout his life. World-famous actresses like Julie Adams, Amanda Ames, Patricia Barry, and Joan Taylor were among his many admirers. He was also a childhood hero to the likes of actors David Cassidy, Clarence Gilliard Jr., and Bill Mumy, as well as comedians Bill Rafferty, Vicki Lawrence, and talk show host Oprah Winfrey. While auditioning children who would play his son on the series, they had tested around 20 or 30 children when Johnny Walker came in. Without hesitation, Chuck said, "That's him, that's the Rifleman's son." Playing the part of his son Mark on the Rifleman, Johnny Crawford remained friends with Chuck until his dying day. Johnny would later comment about Chuck, "I learned a great deal from him about acting, and he was a tremendous influence on me. He was just my hero." When describing Johnny Walker, his co-star, Chuck said, "When Johnny came on the set in 1958, he was a little 12-year-old boy. He called everyone in the cast or crew sir or ma'am. During the course of the 5 years of our run, he had 2 hit records and was nominated for an Emmy for Best Supporting Actor. And yet, when the show was finished after 5 seasons, Johnny went around and thanked everyone in the cast and crew, and he still called them sir or ma'am." Chuck went on to say, "The warm father-son relationship was the heart of the program, and not only did we perform it, but Johnny and I became very close friends." When asked about the Rifleman, Chuck would say, "I can never get rid of the Rifleman, and I don't want to. It's a good image." Basically, it was the simplicity of the love between the father and the son. That was the foundation. The rifle was for show, but the relationship was for real. There was some violence, but at the end, I would explain to the boy that the violence was not something we wanted to do, but had to do. The Rifleman was canceled after its 5th season because Chuck and his co-star Johnny Crawford had decided to move on to other projects after such a great run on network television. Although Connors was almost never shown as a smoker on screen, he was a chain smoker in real life, smoking up to 3 packs a day until he was in his 50s. By then, the damage was already done, and he tragically passed away on November 10, 1992, from pneumonia stemming from lung cancer. Chuck is buried in the San Fernando Mission Cemetery in Mission Hills, California. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. And stop back for more TV and movie trivia and in-depth reviews and biographies on Rerun Zone. Goodbye.